Good afternoon, all. We are going to start today's third session. The topic is process modeling and simulation of chemical engineering systems. And the speaker is Dr. Bharat Banose, Professor and Head, Department of Chemical Engineering, LIT Nagpur. I request Dr. S.L. Bhagat sir to introduce the speaker.
Good afternoon to one and all. Today we have an eminent speaker, Dr. Bharat Banose sir. He is one of the fellow who is having a long list of awards. He has got his first award as a summer research fellow of Indian Academy of Science, Bangalore, Young Associate Fellow Award in 215, and Young Scientist Award from Science and Engineering Research Board, New Delhi. He has just again got award some days before from the Maharashtra Academy of Science, Pune, as a fellow of scientist again. He has on his name 2 patents on nano-organic pigment dispersion using cavitational reactors. He has a long list of research published in referred international journals, and he has published 2 books. That is, first is on process modeling, simulation and environment application in chemical engineering, and novel water treatment and separation method. His area of specialization is simulation of chemical processes. I welcome Dr. Bharat Banose sir to today's FDP program. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For my introduction. I'm thankful to PVPIT for inviting me for this FTP. So today's my talk is on process modeling and simulation of chemical engineering system. So in this, I will be covering some basic parts of mathematical modeling, then simulation. There also, I think, more on closed simulation, then how thermodynamics plays important role in closed simulation. So that part will be there. And some, again, I will touch how residue curve map can be generated using different softwares, and how we can apply this residue curve mapping for designing or sequencing of separation processes at the end. So let me share. So my screen is visible there?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So process modeling and simulation of chemical engineering systems. Topic in chemical engineering, and we have great applications of this. This is a very important course curriculum for UG as well as PG, and this has application in different levels in chemical engineering. So if you start with this mathematical modeling, that is simple representation of mathematical representation of any physical system, or it is a representation of essential aspects of existing system, which represents the knowledge of that system in usable form. So that is simpler definition, right? I have gone through the schedule. Many speakers will touch. I think they must have touched this particular topic. So just I'm going through some basic parts here again. Process modeling, if you see, if you define this process model, that is mathematical abstraction of real process. Any real process can be, so that we are putting in the form of set of equations, right? So that comprise the model, and no doubt that whatever results we are getting, that results should be reflected, or that results should reflect the true process what we have considered while mathematical modeling. after simulation, after solving particular mathematical model, the results will be quite similar to what we are getting from experiments there. The why this mathematical modeling is required, I think many people have touched this particular topic. This is very important again. So no doubt that will improve the process with underlying different correlations, because we are developing different correlations based on material balance, then energy balance, uh, then force balance, then different supporting equation of states. We are taking a help of thermodynamics. From thermodynamics also we different correlations, then transport correlations we have. So that will understand the real process, what is happening there. Uh, so so once we complete this, then another part that very important modeling is uh, to train the plant operating personnel. So that is again very important. So OTS part, right? So that is again where we can show these operating operators. So how that particular process is operating or how it is working. So what will be the effect of different process parameters? So that can be explained properly to them, and they will understand that particular process and they can run this smoothly. Then to design the control strategy, as you say, this process control, or you can say process engineering. Process engineering, that is nothing but your process modeling, process simulation, process optimization, process identification, process intensification, then you can say process integration. So all aspects are there. So here, when we are talking about designing the controller strategy for any first order system or second order system or anything, so always we are writing some balance equations at the initially, that will be in time domain, and then we are applying Laplace transform, you can say, and then we are converting this into S domain, and that will be a transfer function what we are getting. And then no doubt, I think many people must have studied in you can say process control, so how to design that control strategy and all these things. So that is one important thing. And second, suppose if you take the example of distillation column, ideal binary distillation column, so in this case always if you see, degrees of freedom is equal to 4. That is number of equations minus number of, or number of variables minus number of equations, that is degrees of freedom. So no doubt that phase rule is also developed from this equation, that degrees of freedom concept only. So with this, when we are looking for, there is a 4 degrees of freedom, then we have to see different correlations. No doubt number of equations are less than number of variables there. So to have a solution at the end, so that should be same, that is number of equations and number of variables should be same, and so that you will get you can say solution, better solution at the end. So in such cases, you can think about different correlations which are suitable for that particular process. And if you fail to that again, then we have to search for, you can say, controller equations there. So is it possible to add some controller equations, controllers in that particular process? That's why in distillation column also we have seen, for ideal binary distillation column, we have 2 level controllers at bottom as well as top, and then composition controller, or you can say put temperature controllers there at bottom as well as at top, to have a better quality of product or desired quality of product. So that's how you can say you can design the controller strategy for new process. So how many control schemes are required and all these things. So that is again very important. So then to select the controller setting, then design the controller law, and no doubt at the end optimization of you can say process operating conditions. So we have to see the effect of different process of conditions, and we have to optimize those so as to get, you can say, minimum cost, or you can say maximum product quality or product rate, or that is whatever objective function we have. So based on that, I think it can be decided there. So that's this particular you can say mathematical modeling is useful. And no doubt at the same time, if you see, for as I have given one example, for any distillation column, number of product stream plus 2, so that will be a degree of freedom. So that is there. So that's why we need this mathematical modeling. So if you this, I think many people know this. We have one is mechanistic model, that is theoretical model. So that is transparent. That means everything is known. That means what is the principle of chemistry or physics or what is happening in the process, it is clearly known to the person, and based on that he can easily develop your mathematical model, or he can write, or she can write different correlations, as well as you can say balance equations there. So that is important thing here. That is, you can say, theoretical model or mechanistic model. So second, say empirical model. So that is black box. That means always this is obtained from process operating data. So lot of experimental data is required here, or authenticate that experimental data should be required. Then you can do the statistical analysis. There are different methods available for statistical analysis. So people can use this linear, nonlinear regression, or other statistical analysis methods, and they can develop empirical correlation at the end. Then someone can do parameter estimation there, and finally you will have correlations, and that will be useful for that type of system there. And no doubt this will be useful in process identification. That means one can identify that particular process, what is happening in that particular black box. So that is also there. So that is useful again. So you can see different correlations that can be found in mass transfer as well as in heat transfer. So those are that means developed from experimental data. So these correlations, empirical correlations, that what we have, you can say. Then semi-empirical models, that is gray box model. So it is just comprised of you can say 1 and 2. That means some theory part, something is known there, then some experimental data is also available. So it's combination of these two. That is, you can say semi-empirical model, or you can say gray box model. Other than this classification, I think in Leuven also it is given, that is number 1, you can say linear model, non-linear model. Then you can say deterministic and probabilistic model. Then you can say continuous time or discrete time model. Then parameter or distributed parameter systems. So all different cases are available there. So these are the different models, or that is the classification of this. No doubt, what assumption we are making initially. If you say linear model, so you will have a set of linear equations, and once you have a set of linear equations, then how you can solve that strategic plan you can have. That means, or you can say for a set of linear equations, we have different numerical methods available, so can be used, and you will get the solution at the end. Or non-linear equations, can solve set of non-linear equations also, or set of ordinary differential equation, initial value problem or value problem, right? So that can be done, as well as you can say partial differential equations at the end, unsteady state as well as steady state partial differential equations. So you can say a classification of mathematical model. And if you see this general modeling principles, it is well explained in Leuven also and other books also. Model equations are based an approximation of no doubt it is for real process. So, and no doubt always people are working in darkness. Two friends are working in darkness, and one is asking other, so where are you? And another is saying, I'm here, but nobody, both of them does not know, that means where they are. That's why always think about what is this model, and always there is a correction in model. That's why all models are wrong. So that type of statement is used, but no doubt we have to correct it. We have to make it useful for a particular process. So that is very important here. So in this case, like everyday child is watching his father, and father, that means that person is putting kick and his bike. So that theory is developed in the mind of child, that my bike will start. and that is the theory. But one day, by putting kick also, that means it will not start. Bike will not start. So somebody will come and in Indian scenario, somebody will push that bike, and so it will again start. So his theory is developed. That means child has to modify his theory, what he has developed in his mind. Then one day it is still not working, but again, then child again he's in confusion. So finally it will that means he or she can conclude that by a rotary motion, by putting this kick or something like rotary motion, that will create a spark, and then that spark will ignite the fuel, and that bike will start, and like that. So that type of aim should be there. That means that type of concept, that type of understanding is very important. So that's why in mathematical modeling, understanding part is quite important. So that's why modeling inherently involves a compromise between model accuracy and complexity. Other hand, then no doubt, and the cost and required to develop the model on other hand. So here, one important thing in mathematical modeling is assumption. So if you put so many assumptions, so this can be held constant, or this can be simplified, this can be simplified. So you will get end with the simplified model. So complexity can be decreased there, but at the same time it will impose the limitations on that particular mathematical model. So that's why we have to balance between these. That means what is your objective, right? So that we have to consider, and accordingly we have to develop that model. And no doubt, so cost and efforts required to develop model, so that is again very important, because when you have complex mathematical model, and equations you will have at the end, and when you are trying to solve those, so that is quite difficult. So we have to be careful about this. So creating, or we are developing mathematical model for particular systems, so that should be simplest for that particular system, right? Then no doubt process modeling is both as an art as science, no doubt. So that is what we have. Then if you see this dynamic model of chemical process, so if you consider unsteady state model, that is you can say unsteady state. So for that, accumulation part will be there, and no doubt ordinary differential equation will come into picture. So this is for lump parameter system, where spatial variations are neglected. Everywhere, at every location, you will find constant composition, or parameter will not vary with respect to position. So that you can say lump parameter system. So that will lead to ordinary differential equation under unsteady state condition. But if you take steady state condition there, in the case where parameters are vary with respect to position, so that is distributed parameter system. So that will lead to again initial value, you can say boundary value problem, or ordinary differential equation. Or if you take unsteady state distributed parameter system, that will lead to partial differential equations, right? And so this is what we have. So if you see the systematic approach for developing mathematical model, that is dynamic model, so here we have to decide the objectives, modeling objective, what is the end use of this mathematical model, and what they want to put at the end. So that is again very important. So, and second, we have to represent that particular system in a schematic diagram. That means you have to develop that particular process, or you represent that. Then you label all possible variables there. What are the forcing independent variables? All you have to define those. And important thing is list all assumptions, right? That are involved in developing the mathematical model. And here, you see, model should not be no more complicated, right? Then you can say that necessary to meet the modeling objective. Suppose if you are getting objective, so what you have to find out at the end, and for that particular case only assumptions that you can put there. And once you put those assumptions, then if you put more assumptions there, then it will impose the limitation on your mathematical model. So that's why we have to be careful about that. Then we have to, you can say, see it is that means variables are changing with respect to position or not. That we have to check. If variables are changing with respect to position, then no doubt it will lead to partial differential equation at the end. And we have to see the appropriate conservation equations, that is, you can say, mass balance, law of conservation of mass, momentum, or energy. So that you have to put here. And other than this, also we need some good support from thermodynamics. I think that is very important. Thermodynamics will play a very important role in mathematical modeling also, right? So we should have a good knowledge. And then heat, mass, momentum, that transport equations and all these things. So you have to be careful about these type of equations, that is conservation equation, that is balance equations, as well as these supportive equations there. Then that's what I'm saying, that is introduce the equilibrium correlations there, mechanical equilibrium, thermal equilibrium, or you can say phase equilibrium, right? Then some equations, that is transport equations, you will have some kinetic equations, chemical reaction equilibria, right? Or you can say equations related to, you can say, equilibrium constant, then other things. So all are very important here. So chemical kinetics, then stoichiometric, you can say chemical reaction equilibrium criteria and related equations there. Then no doubt equilibrium, equipment geometry will also play very important role there, right? So once you complete this is very important. That will create a better understanding of that particular process. And once you have that good understanding, then you can have a good mathematical model. So that is what. And then next step is nothing but you can say you can perform degrees of freedom analysis, right? So to ensure that model equation should be solved. So here we have to see should be equal to number of variables there. So degree of freedom, and that's why you can say that is required. So degrees of freedom here is nothing but number of equations minus number of variables. That difference between these two is degree of freedom. So if number of equations are less than number of variables, so it is underdefined system, or you can say number of equations are more than number of variables, so it is overdefined system. So that should not be there, or we have to be careful about that. So degree of freedom analysis is quite important here. And no doubt your model should be simplified version of what you have developed, right? So that simulation, kind of that computer simulation or subsequent analysis, that will be quite easy there. Okay, then what will be this mathematical modeling approach? So we have, you can say, physical, chemical, that analysis, you can say. So here you can say material and energy balance equation, that is one important thing. Heat, mass, momentum transfer, that knowledge is quite important. That and we have to see that heat balance, that energy balance equation must. So total material balance, that is total continuity equation, or you can say next is component continuity equation, then momentum transfer, so force balance equation. All these type of cases are very important. So model complexity must be determined, so with assumptions, right? And so it should not be, you can say, expensive. So we have to check, right? So it should not be time consuming, or sometimes it will be, no doubt. Then good extrapolation. So whatever results you are getting, so based on that, you can work on that scale up operation then, right? So with this, some basic again, so conservation laws here, law of conservation of mass, we have a simple equation, that is mass flow in, mass flow out, that is time rate of change of mass inside the system. Similarly for components, here we have rate of formation of moles of jth component, it is written there, right? That is because of chemical reaction, right? So these are simple correlations here. Then conservation of energy. Here, always we are talking about in terms of rate of change of internal kinetic and potential energy inside the system, but in chemical engineering systems, kinetic and potential energy. So generally, depending on its position, that means elevation, or you can say velocity of ingredients, so that can be considered, or sometimes it will be neglected there. So here, heat addition or reboard, then shaft work, PV work, all these concepts are considered in the conservation of energy, or you can say energy balance equation. So no doubt it will work on first law of thermodynamics. So force balance equation, that is again, you can say law of conservation of momentum. So that is quite simple again. That is only a force balance equation here. That is summation of all the forces acting on that particular system, so, right? So in, you can say jet force in particular direction we have to see here. So then transport equation, as discussed, flux, driving forces, then heat, for heat, mass and momentum. So that also see, right? Different correlations that will be there again for calculation of heat, mass, flux, like that. So these correlations are important. Then we have to see the equation of state. So because this is very important, that means with change in concentration or composition, how liquid density is getting changed, right? So here maybe volume change, or that is possible here, right? Integration reaction, so that is possible there. So you can say enthalpy, density of that particular suspension will lead to, that will change. There is a change in volume of that particular system that you will observe. That is because of change in density. So we have to see the thermodynamics part here. So we have to see the change in density of vapor as well as liquid, and no doubt those things are dependent on pressure, temperature, and composition there, right? And also we have to see the change in enthalpy, right? So that is again dependent on you can say pressure, temperature, and composition for vapor as well as liquid. And two important correlation in chemical engineering, that is equilibrium, that is chemical reaction equilibrium, and phase equilibrium. Phase equilibrium, there you can say in thermodynamics also we have seen. So partial Gibbs energy is a chemical potential, and if you check the chemical potential of particular component in different phases, that should be same. Or you can say fugacity you can measure. So fugacity should be for that particular component in different phases when that component is in solution. So it is Fi cap alpha is equal to Fi cap beta, beta alpha beta, these are the phases, that is the indication. Or you can say Fi cap V or equal to Fi cap L. So that is equal to Fi cap saturated if it is, you can say bubble point, that if it is in equilibrium, right? So that is also equilibrium, chemical reaction equilibrium. No doubt this particular equation is developed from fundamental property relation, again written for mixture, and from that we are getting this summation of J equal to 1 to NC. NC is number of components, so nu J multiplied by mu is equal to 0. So mu J is stoichiometric coefficient and chemical potential. So this is quite important for developing certain correlations like delta G0 equal to minus RTL, right? So that is quite important. And once you decide the K, that is equilibrium constant, and from that then you can calculate the theoretical conversion for the system and like that. So this is quite important here, right? And no doubt chemical kinetics, if you see the industrial reactor modeling, different aspect there also. So we have some heterogeneous reaction, homogeneous systems reactions, right? Fluid, or you can say fluid solid, right? Or you can say with catalyst, without catalyst, right? All aspects are there. Sometimes porous catalyst, or when catalyst is involved, then transport of particular molecule is important in multi-phase system, that is from gas phase to overcome liquid gas film, then liquid film, then liquid bulk liquid, then on catalyst surface, right? So many things are there in sequence. There are many resistances, and so these type of simple correlations or understanding, so that is very important in mathematical modeling. So that I'm saying, you can say understanding the physical phenomena and understanding the complete process. So that is quite important here. Then you can say, as discussed earlier, black box model, that is empirical. So you will have large number of unknown parameters. Nowadays, you can say that can be quickly done by linear regression. Linear regression is very simple case here. You can use non-linear regression, but polynomial regression, or different statistical analysis method. Nowadays, these are available. With the help of different softwares, you can work on that, right? So similarly, if you see this semi-empirical modeling, that no doubt we have seen mechanistic model and black box, that is empirical model. So that will be a combination here, right? So estimation of physical parameters, that will be quite less, right? So this will be quite simpler, and we'll work on real time. So as discussed, what are the applications of mathematical models? No doubt in research and development, mind you can say chemical kinetics mechanism, parameters from laboratory to pilot data, right? Then you can say you can explore the different operating conditions for optimization or control studies, right? And that will help in scale-up calculation also. Then it will that will be useful in sizing the equipments, or you can say arranging the process equipments in for dynamic performance. That means you can have a sequence of process equipment, right? So this will be very important, right? So then you can say it will study the interaction of various parts of the process. That means you can say the effect of the conditions of previous equipment that will be on subsequent equipment, or like that, right? Then you can say heat emission, that will be useful, that can be done here. Then you can say it will evaluate the use for the process and control structures and strategies, right? So you can that means in order to have you can say cost-effective process, or so for that you can have that, or to have better quality of the product at the end, and to have a less complications in the process. So this is quite important here. Then startup, shutdown, emergency situations, procedures, all that will be studied, or that will be investigated with the use of, you can say, mathematical model. Then that will be useful in that is troubleshooting, control, processing problems. Then startup and operating training. Then you can say effect of, right? You can say studying the effect of different parameters, or debottlenecking, that in project, or you can say optimizing the plant operations to improve the you can say production, right? All applications are here. You can find out the application of, you can say, mathematical modeling in such cases. So if you see this, if you take any system here if you see homogeneous, you can categorize this into homogeneous and non-homogeneous. And here, if you consider steady state condition in homogeneous, you need to algebraic or non-algebraic equations here. Under, you can say, steady state parameter system kind of thing. But if you see unsteady state, definitely initial value problem, that is ordinary differential or set of ordinary differential is equation is possible here. So then how we can solve those equations? So that is very important. That's why I'm saying assumptions are very important. If you consider steady state assumptions, so that will lead to algebraic, or you can say linear algebraic or non-linear algebraic equation. That will lead to that kind of thing here. So then we have to see what are the numerical methods available, right? So what will be the solution strategy for this? Or you can develop a program, computer program, or in different languages available. Nowadays, different powerful softwares are available. So you can use that, you can develop, and you can have a solution at the end. So similarly, if you see non-homogeneous systems, so here you can say distributor parameters kind of thing here. If you see steady state, if we have two-dimensional steady state, that will be a partial differential equation, or if you see one steady state, that will be ordinary differential equation. So So that will be again a boundary value problem here you will get. And in the case of distributed parameter system, and if you have unsteady state system, so in this case you will definitely it will lead to partial differential equation. It might be one-dimensional unsteady state or two-dimensional unsteady state, or you can say three-dimensional unsteady state. So that type of equations you will end or you will get, or set of equations in mathematical model. So simple example here, this is blending process. So here nothing is more. So here we have stirred blender or blending process. Here we are adding two streams in this, and it is quite mixing. So here you can have, this will be unsteady state, suppose if you consider. So simple equation you will have d by dt of v rho is equal to, or you can say input minus output. So that is very simple equation you will get here. So these are the two inputs, W1 and W2, and W is output here. So similarly, you can have component balance equation that is quite simple here. And if you make it steady state, so again, it is quite simple. So simpler equation have at the end. So keeping rho constant, you can take out, and again, that quite simple process you will get, and dv by dt is equal to in terms, and easily you can solve that, right? So here, if you consider there is no constant rho, then it will be quite different. So we have to differentiate this by part, and then substitution for dv by dt will be there, and then it will be simplified form for dv by dt is equal to, that is change in volume with respect to time and change in composition with respect to time. This is another equation you will have. So after solution, that will be a result here. So here, no doubt, as I have discussed earlier, there are maybe multiple variables in the system, right? Some disturbance variables, forcing function that you can call as, right? Manipulating or control variables, or you can say single input, single output system, that is only one variable need to consider here, right? So in such cases, sometimes you will have one equation, simple one ordinary differential equation, or you will sometimes you will have multiple ordinary differential equations. Suppose if you take an example of A gives B gives C, simple equation is in this simple reaction is taking place in a batch reactor. So you can have three equations, that is component balance equation for A component, B or C. So three variables, that is CA, CB, right? So that will be there. So depending upon that, the complexity of that particular problem will be there. Then degrees of freedom analysis, as already we have discussed this. So that is simple case, that is equations, a number of variables minus number of equations. So that will be number of, you can say, number of degrees of freedom. So no doubt this type of analysis is very important. That will, you can say, if you have degrees of freedom is equal to 0, you can solve that particular system. And if there is a less equations, that is under defined system. If you have more equations, over defined system, right? As I have given the example of ideal binary distillation column. So there also we have seen degrees is 4. That means we have less equations there, 4 equations. So we added some controls you can develop. So it has good meaning, that is this will decide, you can see control strategies, right? Control law, that can be done there. No doubt in this case, you have to identify the variables as well as number of equations, and these number of equations should be independent equations, right? Another case, if you see biology, so here one simple example, if you take straight, right, more cells, products. So some coefficients, two kinetic equation, that is Monod's equation, then specific growth rate is defined like this. So and it is very simple. This is fed batch, that means same batch operation here. So in this case, rate of accumulation, that is the time rate of change of mass inside the system, or number of cells, or you can say biomass, or you can say product. So that is equal to rate in minus rate out, or you can say that is equal to that is plus rate of formation. That is simple equation, and you end up with simple correlations at the end, that is simple equations at the end, ordinary differential equations. So now coming to, this is basic about mathematical modeling. So as we have discussed, you will have a mathematical model, right, with you can say different equations or different types of equations you will get, right? So you can have here, to formulate the chemical engineering problem as a mathematical modeling belong to one of the following categories. So this is what we have here. Complex consecutive calculations, linear nonlinear algebraic equations is possible. We have seen this, right? If we consider steady state lump parameter system, it will be ending with linear or nonlinear algebraic equation. Ordinary difference, so that will be maybe initial value problem or boundary value problem, right? Then partial differential equation, steady state as well as unsteady state, right? And then statistical analysis, that is linear polynomial regression. So here, what are the different computational tools you can use to solve those equations? So no doubt you have to understand and analyze the problem initially, right? And this form, so that should be accurate, right? And once you have this particular model, so we have to see the analytical or numerical solution for this. For that, we have to check for analytical methods and numerical methods for having proper solution. Then no doubt, suppose if you use linear algebraic equation, that is quite simple. You can use any matrix method, or you can say Cramer's rule, or you can say this type of methods can be used to solve linear algebraic equation. Non-linear, we have some bracketed methods, open methods are also available. Bracketed, that is bisection, as well as you can say false position method, or you can say in open we have Newton-Raphson or secant methods. We have to see the application of these methods for multiple or you can say set of non-linear algebraic equation or set of linear algebraic equations. This is well defined in Chapra-Kendall book. So then if you see our methods are available, Euler's method, what are the disadvantages of Euler's method, right? Then modified Euler's, how this modified Euler's is equivalent to second order Runge-Kutta method, right? Then fourth order Runge-Kutta or higher order Runge-Kutta methods, how we can apply this for multiple set, or you can say set of ordinary differential equation. Then how we can solve initial value problem or boundary value problem. For boundary value problem, shooting method, or you can say finite difference, how we can apply that, and then partial differential equations there. So we have to see, and then once we analyze, understand, formulate the model, then you can see for analytical method or numerical techniques for proper solution, and then you can develop the computer program for solving this particular mathematical model. So this is what you can say computer aided. Then it comes to what is simulation. It's a quite simple definition again. Simulation of the system is operation of mathematical of a model, which is representation of that particular real system here. So here you can say a model is amenable to manipulation, right, which will be impossible or too expensive or too impractical or to perform, or the system which is portrays, right? The operation of mathematical model can be studied, and from these properties concerning the behavior of actual system can be inferred. That means you solve this particular model, get the results, analyze those, see the interpretation, see your actual process, see the validation, right? So many aspects are there here, right? And no doubt application here for the simulation, you can say designing and analyzing the manufacturing systems here, right? Then you can say evaluating new military weapon systems or tactics, right? Determine the ordering policy for inventory systems, right? Designing the communication systems and message protocol for them, right? So many applications you will find here, right? Then coming to what are the different simulation softwares available here? No doubt there are different mathematical softwares available like MATLAB, MathCAD, Mathematica, Maple. These are the different mathematics, or you can develop the program, right? And some Plosive simulation software, that is ChemCAD, Aspen Plus, HYSYS. So these are the different available cases here, right? So here, if you see Plosive simulation, in this case, block flow diagram, initial development, right? Thereafter, detailed process flow sheet development, then process integration, detailed database, that is, we should have thermo properties, right? Thermophysical properties, and then pilot plant testing. So here you can say process simulation flow sheet. Here, process flow sheet, you can say flow of material from unit to unit. That is basic thing. That will be represented in process flow diagram. Then simulation flow sheet, that is collection of simulation units that represents the processes, and ARCs represents flow of information among the unit. So this is very important here. So here, no doubt, suppose there is one example in Fogler, that is dead zone in the system, that is 2-parameter system, generally 1 parameter, 2 parameters. So dead zone with bypass, right? So you can represent that actual process. Suppose if you have a large reactor and if there is a inefficient stirring, and that's why some dead zones are created in the system, in the reactor. So that is not taking part in the reaction, that is separate part. Sometimes bypass, that means material in, that is quickly going out. So we have to represent those things in, you can say, mathematical, you can say in process flow diagram, right? While developing the mathematical model. So like that, that means we have to, or you can say tank in series model. So if we have a plug flow reactor, you can you can split that plug flow reactor into number of sections, and then one unit will be considered as mixed flow reactor. So mixed flow reactor in series, that will lead to, you can say, tank in series model, and that's all. You can say that is a representation of you. That is nothing but your representation of your process in simulation unit. So again, you can say this is related to process flow sheet simulation, right? So what is process flow sheet simulation? Here you can say use of computer program to quantitatively model the characteristic equation of chemical processes. So here, what are the relationships we are using here, or equations? So heat and mass balance. Then we have equilibrium relations, as we have discussed earlier also. Rate correlation, that is reaction and mass and heat transfer rate, how they can be defined and what are the equations. So, and here, what are the advantages here? No doubt, stream flow rates, compositions, and properties can be predicted with your process flow sheet simulation. Then operating conditions, you can decide to have a better quality of product. You can do the sizing of equipment, right? So these are some advantages here for, you can say, process flow sheet. So if you see this, how this simulation will help, no doubt that will reduce the plant design time, right? Or you can say that designer or that person working on that, he can develop a new configuration, or he can test new configuration. He can analyze, or he or she analyze the results, what we are getting there, right? Then he can, that will help in improvement in current process, right? So by how, that means if you change this, what will be the effect? If you change this, what is the effect? If you change the temperature, if you change the process condition, what will be the effect on product quality, or you can say energy requirement, or you can say cost of that particular process, right? Then that's how you can say you can lead to, you can say, optimal process condition at the end, uh, right? So, and no doubt that will help in debottlenecking of that particular process. So these are some advantages here. And general simulation problem, if you see, it is quite simple here. So here, feed to the reactor, this is for cumin production, right? Then we have cooler, and then separator, you are getting product, and there is a recycle, that is for unconverted reactant. So So here what you have energy balance and material balance, right? So here you can write, this is for steady state, no doubt. If you do this in Aspen or HYSYS, right, that will be again steady state simulation, or you can say dynamic simulation. So that will be there. So here, if you see, feed is there, so reactor, so what kind of reactor, right, what is happening in that, right? So what are the correlation? That means, is it stoichiometric reactor or yield reactor or Gibbs reactor, or you can say R kinetics, that is plug flow reactor, or you can say mixed flow reactor. So all kind of things are will become that will be available. So we have to see which is suitable there. And then what is the condition, what is the material we are getting at the out, so what is the conversion, right? And then what is the temperature condition there, so that's why you are applying some cooler. So what is the role of cooler in product quality? You can do the sensitivity analysis here. That means if you change the temperature of cooler, right, that means cool out, what will be the temperature of outlet stream from cooler? If you decide that, or if you vary that, so that no doubt that will affect the product quality here, right? So because that will affect the affect on the dynamics or conditions. And if there is a change in the condition in the separator, no doubt your product quality and other things will get changed. So that is a generalized thing here. And what are the different approaches in process simulation here? So no doubt one is sequential modular, right? And for that, Aspen Plus is a sequential modular simulation program, right? And here in sequence, each block, each unit is solved, right? And equation oriented, that is Aspen custom modular, right? So that will be equation oriented, and here simultaneously all equations are getting solved. That means suppose you have in process here reactor is there, so you're writing equations for that. So if you solve that reactor, thereafter you are getting some output conditions here, and then we have to solve that cooler. That is in sequence. But in you can say second is equation oriented. I have to develop equations for all equipments, and combinedly if you solve that, that will be, you can say, equation oriented. So no doubt combination, so that is also there. So you can say Aspen Dynamics, that will be full, right? So what will be good flow sheeting practice here? Here build large flow sheets at a few blocks at one time. That means number of blocks should be less. So no doubt that should represent your system also. So that should not deviate from your real system, right? So it should ensure you can say inputs which are reasonable, right? So otherwise that will lead to quite different solution at the end, right? So then check the results are consistent or realistic. So that is again very important. Otherwise, if you are getting something different results which are not so, that's why in previous slides it is mentioned models are always models have always correction. That means you can correct those, but experiments are always correct. Many times people are saying that my experiment is wrong. No, it is not like that. Whatever conditions you have maintained, that those might be wrong. That may not be as per your expectation, right? So, but for given conditions, what those or what were those in that particular process, we are getting that type of result. So that is the condition. So experiments you cannot say wrong, but conditions you can maintain, and accordingly you can get the results there. So what are the important features of this Aspen? So coming to Aspen now, here we have rigorous electrolyte simulation. Solid handling is there, but it is quite difficult in HYSYS. Petroleum handling, data regression, data feed, optimization, right? User routines, you can develop some programs, right? So here important basic inputs, if you see setup, these are the components in, you can say, Aspen while simulating that. Components required, physical properties, streams and blocks. So that is again important here. Then properties. So in mathematical modeling, from starting itself, I am saying thermodynamics plays very important role. Starting with that, Initially also we have seen equation of state, or you can say some activity coefficient models, or you can say how density is getting changed with respect to change in temperature, pressure, or you can say composition for vapor as well as liquid, then chemical reaction equilibrium, then uh, phase equilibria, bubble point, dew point calculation. Directly it affects the design of, you can say, your mass transfer equipment, right? So it is directly related. That means what property method, what physical property method you are selecting in simulation. So that is quite important here. So that's why uh, yeah, this Aspen or HYSYS software that gives a number of property methods, and selection is quite important in this particular case here, right? Streams already, I think that is quite simple here. I think Dr. Sunil Patil, Mr. Sunil Patil from Aspen, I think he can explain more on this. Then blocks. So here I will just touch this particular topic, how you can estimate that physical properties for, or you can how you can decide that physical property method for that particular simulation. And if you see these physical property models here, that will be segregated as, you can say, one is ideal, right? Here, Raoult's law, all are applicable, suppose. Then equation of state models. Equation of state here, you can say ideal gas law is no doubt, just forget about this. But here, cubic equation of state, that will be again very important. Cubic equation of state, if you see that A value and B value, what we have done in van der Waals equation of state, right? So if you change that, if you decide that, so you will have different equation of state. One is the van der Waals equation of state, then, or you can say Peng-Robinson, or you can say next is, you can say Sour-Rayleigh-Kong, right? So these are used for non-ideal system many times. Many times Peng-Robinson and Sour-Rayleigh-Kong, it is found there. Then activity coefficient model, just like these are some local composition models, that is NRTL, non-random to liquid, then UNIQUAC, that is universal quasi-chemical, then you can say universal functional activity coefficient, that is UNIFAC, that is Van Laar for linear system, or you can say Margulis for Van Laar. So these are different available activity coefficient models. So what is the role here? We are finding activity coefficient in this, right? Gamma. That means gamma is defining the deviation from ideal solution, right? And fugacity coefficient, it defines the deviation from ideal gas, right? That's why you are getting residual property and excess property. Residual property, that is you can say actual property minus ideal property for vapor phase gaseous system, and excess property is nothing but actual property minus ideal solution property, that is equal to excess property, that is for liquid conditions here. Some special models, that is, we can say in boiler steam, we are handling only component is water or amine systems. So these are different physical property models are available. So out of that, which can be used or which can be suitable for in FlowSheet simulation, so that we have to decide here, right? And no doubt choice of model, that will be depend on degree of non-ideal behavior and operating condition. So that non-ideal behavior and operating condition, that plays very important role in deciding these property. So this is here, Peng-Robinson, SRK, PRSV, then Lee Kessler. Then if you see this activity coefficient model, as already we have discussed some here, vapor pressure models, Antoine equations, right? Miscellaneous, that is some special models are also available, right? So here, ideal versus non-ideal. Many times, so what is this ideal behavior, which follows ideal gas law and Raoult's law? That's for solution, right? So no doubt Raoult's law is a combination of ideal gas and ideal solution. That is again. So that's why this is applicable for ideal solution here, right? So non-polar components with similar size and shape, if we have, then those will be, you can say ideal. This type of systems will be ideal. So best example, if I take if you take 50 ml water and 50 ml oil, and if you mix it together, so it will lead to, you can say, 100 ml at the end. But if you take 50 ml large molecule, something like sand, 50 ml, and 50 ml another liquid water, smaller molecule, right? So smaller molecule will occupy the space in between, you can say, larger molecules. So effective volume will not be 100. So there is a deviation from ideality now. So that's why this will be non-ideal case here, right? So why this non-ideal? Because there is a molecular interaction, right? Polarity, size, shape, difference in of molecule, right? So that will be there. And how you can measure that is only TXY or PXY diagram or XY diagram. So from that you can decide this, right? So if you see this, no doubt simple comparison is there. Equation of state is good for vapor phase modeling, liquid with low polarity, right? Activity coefficient, that is for good for liquid phase modeling only, right? So these are some comparison it is given here. And no doubt it is for dilute systems. It is for critical components which are present there, right? And in dilute condition, right? CO2, N2, many times CO2 is considered critical supercritical component, right? So that is for that type of calculus. That means generally Henry's law is in combination with activity coefficient, so model. So if you see this review on this, so first question will be, you can say, do you have any polar component in the system? If there is a no, then you directly use equation of state model. And if it is yes, then another question will be, are the operating conditions near the critical region of the mixture? If it is yes, then equation of state. If it is no, then another question, do you have light gases or supercritical components in your system? If it is yes, then you have to use activity coefficient model with Henry's law. Otherwise, use only activity coefficient model. So here, if you see different equilibrium conditions, as discussed earlier also, because that plays very important role in mathematical modeling. Mechanical equilibrium, that is pressure of either phases or container, if it is same, then mechanical equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium is temperature of different sections or phases is same, that is thermal. Equilibrium, that is fugacities of ith spaces, particular component, that should be same in different phases, or chemical potential of particular component, that should be same in different phases. So if we apply this K value concept here, no doubt that is simple correlations, it is flash calculation. If we have two component system, that is ZA and ZB, A and B component, our compositions are represented here. And here, if you see the combination, 4 combinations are possible here. Ideal gas, ideal liquid, that will lead to Raoult's law. Non-ideal gas, ideal liquid. So non-ideal gas, that means fugacity coefficient will come into picture, that will decide the non-ideal gases. Or then ideal gas and non-ideal liquid. Non-ideal liquid, that means activity coefficient will come into picture here. So that will decide, that will be modified Raoult's law, right? So then you can see the bubble point and dew point calculation with modified Raoult's law. Then non-ideal gases and non-ideal liquid. So in both the cases, you can say fugacity non-ideality of gases and activity coefficient for non-ideality coefficients. So if you see this, for ideal gas, simple Raoult's law is possible here, right? YIP saturated, it is very simple, and no doubt always K value is Y upon Xi. So you get vapor pressure of particular component divided by total pressure, that will be a K value of particular component that component is involving in that particular system. So similarly, some modification we can have here, right? So if you have fugacity coefficient, then it will be added there. Then activity coefficient, if you see that modified Raoult's law, so in calculation of K value, you will have activity coefficient in the equation. Then here, if you see this non-ideal gas and non-ideal fugacity coefficient as well as activity coefficient is there, right? At equilibrium, no doubt, Fi cap V were equal to Fi cap L will be same there. So accordingly, you can develop the equations here. And if you see this summary here, you can say ideal. So no doubt ideal case you can use here. Non-ideal gas, ideal. You can use equation of state, ideal gas, and non-ideal solution. You can use activity quotient model, and if both are non-ideal, you can have a combination of these two, right? So that is what k-value concept you can have. As discussed earlier also, ideal system is you can say similar size and shape molecule, right? Non-polar molecule, ethane, some example you can say here, methane, ethane, propane, that is ideal one. So non-ideal, there is a considerable change in size, right? So polar molecules such as you can say water, ethanol, right? So that will show non-ideal behavior. Okay. Now, as discussed, we have seen activity coefficient is a measure of liquid phase non-ideality of the mixture, right? No doubt it will as pressure, right? So in this case, if we have positive deviation, you will get minimum boiling azeotrope, and if you have negative deviation, you will get maximum boiling azeotrope. The maximum boiling azeotrope formation is quite rare, but minimum boiling azeotrope formation is there in many cases. So in this case here, if you see this simple picture here, PXY diagram will show there is a negative deviation here. So your actual pressure is less than what we have. So because of that, we are getting maximum azeotrope here. But if we have maximum deviation, that is total pressure is deviating, that is not, that means it is deviating on positive, that total pressure calculated is higher than calculated for ideal condition, is a positive deviation. So here you will get minimum boiling azeotrope. Azeotrope is constant boiling mixture here. So coming at this is PXY or TXY diagram, but nowadays people are working on residue curve mapping. So this can be done in Aspen also. In Aspen Plus, you can develop residue curve map. You are tracking the concentration of particular component in residue, right? And then it is represented on ternary diagram, right? And ternary or quaternary diagram. And then you can say that will be useful for designing the configuration of, you can, process flow diagram, which can be that particular process flow diagram will be useful, or that will be used, or that will be simulated in using Aspen Plus software or something like that, or different simulators also. But here residue curve map, if you see, it originates from, terminates at, right, or that means originates from pure components, or you can say less boiling azeotrope, or you can say less boiling temperature or component, and will aim towards highest boiling component here. So in this case, from where it originates, that is unstable node. From where it that means where it terminates, that is stable node, right? And from where it deflects, that is intermediate point. So that is called as saddles, right? So if you see in ternary mixture, including ideal or constant relative volatility mixture, presented here, if you see this is the intermediate particular, this is a heavy component, that is highest boiling component, this is light. That means from here it is originated. Remember, residue curve maps never intersect, right? So they are always away from each other. So no doubt, if you take this particular picture, that means this is simple case here was just pointer option. So if we have this distillation steel, and if you start heating, we have component A and B, and if you start condensing, and you are getting here, and you are just again continuously. So what will happen? A component and B component we have. So A and B is there. So here one is less boiling and one is more less volatile, and another is more volatile. So more volatile will go up, condense, and back. So if you continue this particular process for some hours, so you can say there is equilibrium reached between vapor and liquid phase, and then you can take sample from residue and check its composition, and thereafter just withdraw some vapor sample, that distillate sample. So if withdrawing distillate sample here, what will happen? The amount of more volatile component will be more in this, in initial cases, initial stages. So if more, that means you are losing more volatile component number, that will be from this particular system, that will be more, and that means number of components, that is less volatile components, will be more in this particular steel after this removal. That means this point is shifted to another. Again, withdraw we distillate, it will shift to another like that, right? And that means how much quantity you are taking out, that depends, the position of curve will be depending on. So if you take more, so it will come like this. If you take less quantity withdrawal, it will be like this. Again less, it will be like this. Again less, it will be like this. So like that it will be done. But in Aspen Plus simulator, you can use ternary system. You decide the temperature and pressure condition for that, and once you decide this temperature and pressure condition, and decide these components which you are using there, you can decide the that property method. That means you have to note out activity coefficient model which we are using here. Decide that, and based on that, it will give the residue curve map for the given system. So in this particular case, there is no azeotrope available, no azeotrope formation, right? So, but again, if you go next, here formation of azeotrope is there. Point C is azeotrope here, and if I consider this is intermediate azeotrope temperature, right? That means this is your unstable node, right? This will become a saddle, right? And this region here, this point here, that this will decide the boundary between two regions. This is one region, this is another region, right? So this will decide the boundary. So on this side, if I consider this region, this will be saddle point, that means intermediate boiling point, and this is stable node, that means it is heaviest one, and this is lightest one. In this case here, this is heaviest one, this is light. That means what operating condition we are deciding, based on that, their boundary crossing will be there. So this is the important thing here again. So if you see this direct sequence and indirect sequence again, so this can be actually once you get residue curve map, so this type of analysis can be done here. So in this case here, direct sequence, that means we are taking distillate directly from first column only. So we are deciding this. So here F1 is a feed, this D1 and B1, these are the products for first distillation column. So in this case, if I consider feed here, right, this is a feed F1, and if I write the balance equation, F1 equal to D1 plus B1, so that will form, so that is a straight line. So on that particular straight line, your D1, B1 and F1 lies, right? So if I decide feed point here, right, and I'm expecting 100% distillate here, right? So I can join these 2 points with a straight line, and that line can be extended towards this side, right? So this will give me B1. So this will be the composition of your bottom, right? And that is given for next distillation column. So this is B1 here, right? So here, this is F2, that means feed for this second distillation column. Now in second column, I should have a heaviest component at bottom, right? So this is heaviest B2. So I can join these two. If I join these, I will get a distillate as a D2 as a P1. So this is the sequencing. This is direct sequencing. And indirect sequencing, suppose if you carry out the indirect sequencing, that means from first column itself, I am getting B1 as a pure component. So where is B1 here? B1, or you can, sorry, heaviest component, that means B2. This should be in first column, right? So here, if F is there as a feed, and this is B2, that is heaviest component here, here I want as a product, I can join these two and extend line. this will be my feed to second column. This will be feed to second column. And then we have to check which is light and heavy. So this will be bottom product from second, and this will be top product from second column. So that's how we can work on this, and that's how we can design the process flow diagram, and which will be useful for process flow sheet simulation. So that will be advanced topic. That means somebody can work on this, decide the system, and can work. So this is indirect sequence what I have discussed, right? So same thing, B1 I want as a bottom, that means heavy component I want bottom in first column itself, and in direct sequence distillate as a light component, and in indirect sequence heavy as a bottom in first column. So this is what we have. So as discussed in previous case, this will be the picture for indirect sequence. So again, to consider isotropic mixture here. In isotropic mixture, suppose we have an example acetonol. So so here you can 2-propanol and water forms isotope. Suppose here, so this will be the case: acetone, water, and 2-propanol. This is the isotope here, right? So we have to decide the boiling point of this. So no doubt, look at this residue curve map here. So this is the saddle here, right? So acetone is lightest one. Water for this region it is heaviest, and for this region, that means region will be like this. So this will be a distillation boundary, because this is the isotope here that joins like this. So here this is the residue curve map which is tending towards. So here 2-propanol will be heaviest for this region, and for this region water will be heaviest. And for both the region, acetone is the lightest one, and this isotope which is formed between water and 2-propanol, it will be intermediate component here. So when we are applying this, feed is given to the this particular case here. So feed will be a combination of no doubt all three, right? 2-propanol, water, and acetone. So this is your feed that we have decided here, right? So on Turner diagram you can plot this, right? And in direct sequence, I want acetone as a pure product in very first column only. So I have, this is apex, that is 100% acetone, right? So I can join these, right? And again, if I extend this here, because these 2 points, I want pure D1, so pure D1. So this is 1 point, and F1 we have. If I join this with straight line and again extend this, I will give B1, which is F2, feed per second, right? And once I get this F2 here, right? Then in this, I am in this region here. So heaviest component is water, right? So I can separate bottom product as a water. So as a pure water. So this is pure water here. This is the feed given to second. If I join this with straight line, and again if I extend here, I cannot go here now, because this is isotope. I can end here only. That is D2 as an isotope. That is the 2-propanol and water, which can be recycled back here, right? Okay. So if you recycle this back here, then you can say F1, or you can say F is equal to F1 plus D2. That will be another equation you will form, right? This is straight line again. F is what? This is feed after combination of this F1 and this is D2. So this will be applicable. And then somewhat again, one more combination is possible here, right? So different possibilities are there, okay? In this case, this is a minimum boiling point isotope, right? That's why these residue curves are originated from this, right? This is heaviest. This and these are intermediate. That's why these are saddle. A and E is saddle. B is heaviest. That is stable node, where your residue curves A, right? So similarly, this case here, this is your unstable node, right? This is lightest one. This is heaviest one, and these two are saddle. So that's how we can create sequence for this, right? So many times, no doubt, minimum boiling point isotope is possible. Okay. as discussed, maximum boiling point in rare condition, you will find this, right? So this is another example. You can say benzene, cyclohexane, and acetone, right? If I give feed F1 here, if I go to next, this is feed F1, and I'm getting D1 and B1 as a product here, right? So here F1 as a feed, right? Then this is D1 of product, right? So no doubt it will shift inside after addition of what? Let me suppose if you check here, you are adding F2 here also. After adding F2, your feed is generally benzene plus, you can say, propane, which we have propylene, right? Because cyclohexane formation is there. So this addition, right? So that will shift this point inside, right? And then we have to see what you want as a bottom benzene, pure benzene. So it is indirect sequence. So benzene here, maybe feed here somewhere, right? So this is the straight line, and you will end to the azeotropic condition here as a distillate. Okay, so this is my feed. This is bottom product. So I will get pure benzene as a bottom, and D1. Then I can apply this extractive liquid extraction. I can separate these, right? Then this is given for distillation here. So this feed here, right? And out of that, what I am getting here and here. So that also we have to check. So no doubt with the help of this residue curve mapping, you can design this, you can say process configuration, right? Or you can say you can do the distillation sequencing, and what we are getting at the end. All these aspects will be very important here, right? And once you design this, then you can carry out the simulation. So you can apply, you can build the process flow diagram in Aspen, right? You decide the feed or what is given there, right? And once you give this, right, and then just run the simulation, you will get the final uh, results here. And so here you can say how composition is getting changed, or all parameters that you can carry out the sensitivity analysis, and so many things are there. So this is what I have touched today. So starting with, you can say, basic concept of mathematical modeling, simulation, how to develop mathematical model with some examples, role of thermodynamics in process modeling as well as in process simulation, right? So ideal, non-ideal conditions, and then you can say its applications to, you can say, designing of this particular process and its simulation there, right? It is always related to, you can say, flow sheet simulation here. So this is all from my side, and if you have question, I think I'll be happy to answer those. Hello. Hello.
If any participant is having any question, please ask.
Participant, if you have any question, please ask. Sangram sir.
Sir, I think it's fine.
Okay. So now I request Professor Edipati sir to deliver vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to all. It's my honor and privilege to propose again vote of thanks on behalf of Department of Chemical Engineering and organizing committee of this FDP on this particular occasion. Today we are honored with Professor and eminent speaker, the Professor Bharat Banwase, head and professor from LIT Nagpur, for a wonderful speech on process modeling and simulation in chemical engineering. So during this 2 hours, or I can say 2 hour sessions, Banwase sir has given more emphasis on particularly process modeling simulation approaches. What are the data to be selected from thermodynamics? Then what are the data required, or what are the modular approaches required to carry the modeling and simulation in particularly chemical engineering field, along with examples. So really sir, the knowledge of simulation and modeling which are shared is really appreciable. It's valuable to all the participants who are to build their progress in modeling and simulation engineering field, and assure that each and every participant which has listened this particularly will definitely implement this particular knowledge in terms of his research and development in field of modeling and simulation. So for this purpose, I want to give my sincere thanks to you for accepting our invitation and conducting a session on modeling and simulation in our FDP. Thank you again for sparing your valuable time with us, clearing out our all concepts regarding modeling and simulation with the help of proper examples. And I really appreciate that your each and every efforts has become successful for conducting this session. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Now here we'll conclude today's third session. And tomorrow we'll start the fourth session at 10:15 a.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Should I leave? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.